Indigenous Media, Al Tarif Unc L, be coming forward 2018.
Back for the deficiency to become void. How about that?
Right.
Now, Mr. Reed, you said to us, hey Doc, what is this orange one for? So I said to you, believe it or not, Reed, what does orange represent? Orange is representing what?
In the body, inside of the body, or just...
How about vitamin C content?
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
Orange, vitamin C content, and this happens to be for joint pain blends. So let's put the two together. You got a high amount of vitamin C, you got trace minerals and cell salts, you got good joints.
Okay.
The joints feel good. Like I say, it is not a cure, but it helps with the deficiency of swollen or immovable joints. Let's go with this one right here, fat burner. Now, fat burner is from a grapefruit and lemon content. Why would we use grapefruits and lemons in our fat burner?
Well, I guess that with the grapefruits and lemon is, well, lemon, doesn't it deal with acid or?
It's a cleanser.
It's a cleanser, okay.
Cleanse the liver. And then, of course, everybody knows the grapefruit helps you do what? Lose weight.
Lose weight.
So what happens when you flash ferment this, add the trace minerals and cell salts, it causes the metabolism to increase or to become back in balance. Once the metabolism is rebalanced, the body begins to lose weight. But first of all, do you know why the body accumulates so much weight on it? Do you know why people get fat? Do you know the major cause of obesity?
Hydration?
No, heat.
Heat?
Heat is the major cause of obesity. Yeah, I'm going to give you an example. For an example, this is how obesity works. You eat sugar. Now you're on fire. I'm on fire. So your body brings water to the area that is on fire. But when it brings the water to it, it falls right down like a washboard because there's nothing to hold it there. So the body sends out a signal to the fat cells. I need backup. Okay. So the fat cells begin to come and start putting up a wall so that as the body begins to hold the water in that position, it's holding it now over the whole hot zone.
Okay.
Now, as it holds over the hot zone, it's being reinforced. Okay. Next thing you know, obesity occurs because it's layer upon layers of fat that's holding the water in between it because the body is on fire. That's where obesity comes from. How about that one? You ever heard it put like that?
No.
That's how fat burner goes. It goes in there and it begins to work, create the metabolism and everything. But since I'm on water, or should I say since I'm on a liquid, I have a little bit of knowledge I want to drop out there to the average person who's drinking 9.0 water. Now, I'm not the smartest person in the world, okay? But I'm going to give you some examples. When I was in the military, and soldiers used to fall out because I was a 9118 medical specialist. When people used to fall out, the first thing I used to do is to unwrap or undo their shoelaces, prop their feet up, throw a salt tablet in their mouth. Okay. Why do you put salt in your mouth? Because salt is hydrating. So, if you're drinking a 9.0 alkaline water, which we call a pH water. Now, first of all, we have to understand what pH means for. pH means potential hydrogen. Now, potential means this. Watch this. See, I got the potential to get this out and drink it.
Right.
But potential without effort is void action. So what you need now for it to work is you got to need a mineral to release the potential hydrogen in order for it to alkaline your body.
Okay.
So if it doesn't have the right minerals in it to release the potential or the pH, then it begins to eat out of your bones.
Right.
So now you're drinking this 9.0 water that does not have the minerals for hydration and is leaching out of your bones. Okay? So I'm going to hold with that right there.
That's important.
And we're going to let it.
He was the head of the hood. But he couldn't seem to get ahead of the hood, because in the hood he got more head than the head in the hood of the hoodie that he wore. I tried to tell him he was a god, but he thought I said vice lord. So he stayed wrapped up in mic cords and nice whores, disconnected from his life source. He never knew his mother. Hated what he knew of her. So he kept a new lover, because he knew lovers had a tendency to tend to his feminine deficiency. Dude's been incomplete since his infancy. His mama left him at an early stage. Left him with an early rage. So he started gang banging and banging girls at an early age. Cause little mama kinda reminded him of his mama a little. So he loved it when she called him baby. Freudian crazy, drank 40 ounces daily, took 9 or so blunts, smoke-filled room. He reminisced those 9 or so months he had spent in his mama's womb. So he slept with 90 or so sluts, trying to find a vagina that felt like hers. Cause that was the last time that he ever really felt her touch. Heard he was good for nothing, only good for crushing. Even though he was trying to hide it in his eyes, I could tell he was looking for something. So while he was loving them whores, secretly, he pretended that his genital was an umbilical cord, attaching him to what he lacked. The only thing in his life that ever had his back was the scratches from the hood rats he tapped under twilight. Matriarch queen deprived, so he only did it on queen size. So in between the queen's thighs, he fantasized her screams and moans. As she yelled, "I'm about to come," all he heard was, "Son, mama's home." So with still unfastened pants, he pants and lies on breasts like implants. A full-grown man, but an infant with a thug persona. Underneath his hard exterior, all he ever really wanted was his mama. Not to mention he missed his granny. She now rests in peace. So now he tries to find rest in the streets. Got a different chick to fulfill a different one of his needs. He got one that buys him gifts, one that cooks his favorite dish. He even got a church-going chick, but strangely, shorty makes him angry. Church only makes him fight God harder, because he wasn't looking for another father. He wanted his mother. Couldn't get with the concept of Jesus, because he only saw dude as another brother. Too much testosterone, not enough estrogen. So he drowns the tears of a baby boy in extra gin, as the echoes of exits of feminine kin begin to get the best of him. Yeah, y'all heard about the woes of the fatherless hoes. But what about the pain and sin of motherless men? Thank y'all. Make sure y'all follow the page. K-Love, the poet. I love y'all. Love yourself. Hard.
things about what made her outstanding is Ms. Kiki Davis is the majority stockholder of First Independent Bank located in Detroit, Michigan. So that is what makes Ms. Davis the only black woman in America who owns a bank. You know, the thing is that you know, she is also the founder and president of the Don Davis Legacy Foundation. So the other thing that you got to realize is that, you know, even though people and accomplish certain goals, these things have a great motivation behind it. You know, she's doing this in lieu of her husband passing away. You know, so, you know, if you get a chance, reach out to Miss Dawn Davis, you know, because there's a lot of emphasis in this. So let me get into the fact that one is a sister, two, black woman. Third is the fact that it's dealing with finance and her excelling to be an owner of a financial institution. And also, she lost someone, you know, in her plight. She lost her husband. Want to, you know, let you know that she is inspired by Shirley Chisholm. But again, out of everything, you know, we want to give honors to the life of Mr. Don Davis. You know, so you can also view his legacy at Don Davis Legacy, DonDavisLegacy. Okay? And again, the bank that she dealt with is called First Independence Bank. All right? So, this is just very paramount in our growth, and we want other women and other people to know that we do have, this does exist. So there's a lot of people that feel disparaged and look at our situation as a whole, but don't want to look at the avenues in which you can achieve goals. You know, and these people are here, you know, they're not doing this by themselves. They're doing this in a collective. So the children, they're not doing this just by themselves. They're doing it in the collective with their parents and with other people. Miss Kiki Davis is not doing this by herself. She's doing this part of the collective. All right? So, again, Kiko, Kiko Davis. That's the sister right there. And the second group that I want to bring acknowledgement is to, in reference to new black-owned urgent care in Brooklyn. This is important because this is dealing with the medical industry and our health. So a lot of times our community and society emphasizes music, things that bring joy, but don't emphasize. It's not in the media. It's not on BET. It's not emphasized as far as how important the level of health is to our people. So, you know, this is a black-owned urgent care that's in Brooklyn. Dr. Tamara Moise, Moise, and along with a certified physician assistant, Watson Fields, co-founder of Big Apple Urgent Care. So, you know, one of the main things about this team is they also deal with the Caribbean. Um, they came through a struggle. Big ups to the Haitian family. Um, and again, they didn't do this alone. They're working together. So these things should inspire you and inspire those around you to expand on what we are currently doing at this present time. These are things are not what we want to do. This is what we're doing. So one of the main things that was emphasized in their struggle was the fact that the majority or the main hospitals, um, they was overcapacitated, and people was traveling far away from where they live to try to get assistance. And this is a wide range dealing with health. This is, a wide range. This could be for medication. This could be for lacerations, broken bones, all types of symptoms that need immediate and emergency assistance. Another additional thing with them is being multilingual, which the staff is fluent in Creole and in Spanish. So this is one thing that welcomes people and makes them feel comfortable that a Spanish descent and that a Creole, which is dealing with the Haitian. Again, this is in East Flatbush. All right. So please do your research, and you can also pull up online or visit the Big Apple Urgent Care at 3805 Church Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11203 between 38th and 39th Street. Also you can view them online. So the assignment for everyone is to find out how to develop a business in healthcare. Don't just look at healthcare as something that other people are supposed to do. Again, we got to get out of the habit of thinking that everything that we need is supposed to be provided by someone else. So, let's give honors and respect to this family and this group of brothers and sisters that have stepped up and made it known that they're there for their people. All right. You want to hear Uchu? Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me pause the music so you can be heard a little better. What were you saying, bro?
No, I was just saying I've been listening for a minute. I just didn't want to interrupt. I came in on this when you were ending the first part of the women's thing. Yeah, peace, family. What's going on?
Oh, okay, no doubt. Did you want to comment on anything that you done heard so far?
Nah, go ahead. I'll try on the next upcoming subjects.
Okay. All right. So the next subject that I was going to get to underneath women was under the third part was a young lady by the name of Celeste Beatty. Celeste, last name Beatt. Let's see. Make sure I got it right. Celeste, last name Beatty, Beatty of Harlem. I want to give acknowledgement and honors to her for starting her own beer brand. This is in Harlem, a Harlem brewery. You know what I'm saying? One of the main things with her was that, she started this in her own apartment. Not just to emphasize on beer, but just to emphasize on the fact that she did alchemy and she perfected a craft, within her own confines, just to give people the idea that you could do this, whatever that you seek out to do, you could do it by yourself, and you can also be successful with it. She also graduated from North Carolina Shaw University, and the main thing with her, she's all about aspiring Black entrepreneurs to also get into the beer making industry. So the major thing about her, with her enduring her craft, is the fact that her beer is going to be on the shelves of 39 local New York Walmarts. That's amazing, just to go from doing something in your house to actually having it accepted by Walmart. So this is all about inspiration. It's one, again, that is a sister. Two is dealing with the fact that she accomplished the goal, and three is entrepreneurship. All of this is based on inspiration. So if you want to get into a little bit more of her story, please go and research. Take a look at Dr. Tamara, and look up Celeste Beatty, Black-owned beer brand. So under the category of women, we have Kiko Davis is the first sister to own a bank at Black Detour. We have the sister that has the Don Davis, dealing with her husband, and that's with her bank. And then we got the Black Urgent Care in Brooklyn, Miss Tamara Moyes, and then we got Celeste Beatty with the Harlem Brewing Company. These are all under the category of women. Just giving some acknowledgement, and that's the assignment. Get a chance, share this with other sisters. Look them up, maybe contact them. Because all of these women and their organization is there to promote entrepreneurship. So I'm not just announcing this just to cape for or gloat over the accomplishments of what they've done. They're actually there to inspire other brothers and sisters to do better for themselves, and don't think that society is just that much marginalized to where we don't have anything going for us and that we're not making strides in society. The other thing about the sister with Celeste Beatty and the beer brand is that she also did a commercial that had actor Antonio Fargas from Everybody Hates Chris in it. So she's being supported by other people, just to let you know that it's not just going unnoticed as far as when people are striving to do better. So again, out of all of the despair, all of the confusion, all of the negativity that the media promotes, Indigenous Media is here to promote the accomplishments of our people. Nothing negative, everything positive, because we have to emphasize this going into our tomorrow, just to know that, listen, you're not out here alone. You're not by yourself. There's people that is making moves, and you could be a part of it also. So never give up on that. Never think that, it's over and it's done with. Also underneath the women and the sisters, there's a sister, I'm going to play a video, upload a video. She did some poetry. Her name is Kendra K. Love, and it's dealing with the head of the hood. So stay tuned for that, and we'll definitely get into that a little bit later on. So moving from that into our story, I wanted to get into big ups to the brother Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch made the news in dealing with buying up real estate in Oakland to combat gentrification. This is to me, this was real big. He also received the Raiders Walter Payton Man of the Year nomination award. You know, the thing that Marshawn Lynch emphasized was this is something that should be emphasized to other people that's in all levels of sports. And this all goes all the way back to Akon to me. Before Akon, all of these athletes, all of these people, these rappers, they weren't doing nothing. Then when Akon made a big headlines of what he was doing in Africa, you started getting a lot of people that got involved in all the arenas of sports. So I want to big up Marshawn Lynch, you know, because what he stated was he seen what was going on in his community in Oakland. He's seen this whole trend that's going on throughout the United States of, you know, the Mukasu or, you know, the Albion race buying up property in inner cities and kicking the people out of the areas, you know, that don't have the money, that don't have, you know, the economic leverage and so forth. So what he did was he started buying up the area, and this is what you really have to emphasize. You know, also with me emphasizing that, I'm gonna get into that a little bit later also, and I targeted Marshawn Lynch for a reason, just because when I get to music and movies, it's something that's going to be incongruent to that also. So, you know, research, take a look. Your assignment is to maybe get in contact, maybe reach out to Marshawn Lynch, see how you could do it in your neighborhood. If you got the funds to do it, you know, see what motivated him to do what he did, but also acknowledge the athletes that are doing something. You know, it don't always have to be protesting. You know, it's people that's out here that's actually putting their money where their mouth is. So, you know, this really means a lot, you know, for people to turn around, because a lot of times athletes, they leave the hood or leave their area and they become invisible in the areas that they move to. And it is unimaginable to people to where you could be making millions of dollars and know that a townhouse or a complex doesn't cost that much to buy and to house families in it. You can literally buy a block. You know, that's just with 1 year's worth of a salary. So big ups to Marshawn Lynch. The second person that I want to, oh, you want to say something?
I was just saying, yeah, big up for that. I want to comment later when you finish, when you start giving out the assignment stuff.
Okay. The next person that I want to acknowledge under our story is the brother Nipsey, goes by the name of Nipsey Hussle. The reason why, you know, it is in so many areas that I want to acknowledge this brother, and it kind of made me emotional because, you know, knowing the importance of Dr. Sabi, you know, and our community being the Wapians and so forth, and being there to emphasize the health aspect during our generation. Dr. Sabi, to me, was beside, in addition to Dr. York being an avatar that came to our people for this generation. Our generation and our parents' generation that suffer so much from having inadequate diets. And so let me get back to Nipsey Hussle. What he's doing is he's actually putting out a documentary that will narrate Dr. Sabi's trial in 1985. So, the situation, just a brief situation, was that Dr. Sabi was persecuted for curing AIDS in New York. The major U.S. medical corporations didn't like the fact that a melanated brother had the scientific and biological medical know-how without going through their institutions to help his people and help people that were suffering. And, ultimately this led to his demise and being targeted. Which he accepted, because his work has already been done. What he came here to do was actually done. You know what I'm saying? So he did this. They didn't stop him from curing people. It's the fact that they came in after he did it, which people got to realize that this man, Dr. Sabi, literally cured people that was diagnosed with AIDS, that was an immune deficiency, and other types of cancers and so forth. And he was not part of the medical industry. So, for Nipsey Hussle to take upon himself to know the importance of this, especially when Dr. Sabi was alive, he emphasized how he went to the major money holders in the melanated community, and they turned their back on him because of, their handlers. So the fact that Nipsey Hussle will give an opportunity to bring this story to the children, the elders, the women and men, and the whole community is beyond paramount. You know what I'm saying? And this means so much to me because, our major aspect of life is dealing with health, and this is what Dr. Sabi did for us. Uncounted number of people. And so for him to take that mantle and to put together and to invest the money into that is, that's what our legacy and our story is about. You know what I'm saying? Not just ancient history, but what people are doing right now amongst our people. The third part that I just want to bring, just a quick acknowledgement, is Sweet Chicks, Williamsburger. This is in Brooklyn. This is co-owned by Nas, and I wanted to acknowledge what Nas did during the period of time that the federal government was shut down. You got to look at the fact that it was people that was going to work. We don't know how many hours they was going to work. We don't work for the federal government. But you got to look at the fact that there was people that was going to work and they wasn't getting paid for it at the end. So who knows where the money was coming from for them to sustain themselves. But, the brother made sure with his company that they ate, and it's called Sweet Chick. Sweet Chick. And this is in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. So they serve fried chicken and waffles, and believe me, the federal employees did go there and eat. You know what I'm saying? So, in the midst of people, the travesties that our race has with the police and the local governments and being shot and abused, we still have the heart to bring relief to those that are suffering. So it's having the ability to do so. So again, that makes the owners and Nas and them bigger than anything that people could bring to us. So I just wanted to give acknowledgement to him. So
word. Big honors to Nas the Moor. You know what I mean? The King, God's son. So that's for those that don't know the moves he making, like for real, that's hip hop. It's not just the music and the dancing and the fly gear and everything like that. That's hip hop, yo. That's hip hop 2.0. Move this thing into the next millennium, for real. But I'm gonna go backwards in terms of the subject matter. Quick comment on the Dr. Sebi documentary. Nipsey Hussle is doing a great thing. I agree with you on that. He's doing a great thing to bring some light and some focus back on to one of the members and elders in our community that's beloved by people of all walks, not just Nuwapians. Of course, when he started, he wasn't just appealing to Nuwapian people. That actually came rather late in the game in terms of his walk. But he touched a lot of other people, a lot of communities internationally, not just in what's referred to as the United States, North America, Turtle Island.
Recording started.
Been all over the world, so doing this thing. So, and another thing, he does have a living legacy. So let's just remember that. There are still people that can give you the goods that work very closely with Dr. Sebi and developed his brand. I think it might be why. Shout out to KTL, who was raised in the house with Dr. Sebi. He's one of Sebi's babies, for real. Like, so he was raised in the house with Dr. Sebi, and he brings a lot of clarity to the whole icon that we refer to as Dr. Sebi, and what made that work. He also reveals something very, very intriguing to me about Dr. Sebi and the healing village that he created in South America. So, and that was that. At first, it was called the Ogun Healing Village, or something of that nature. It was named after Ogun.
Okay.
That was very interesting. When it became more of a corporate thing, it became Usha. So that was an interesting little tidbit. He mentioned that when in an interview with Brother Rich from Black Magic, and he mentioned that in an interview with him. So they were talking about the same Nipsey Hussle thing for a minute. And it might be a good thing to check with some of the people that were more heavily influenced, on a personal level with Dr. Sebi, and or the icon we call Dr. Sebi, and what made his thing work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I have a comment and a question on the first, which was, I told you I'm going backwards, Brother Marshawn Lynch. And again, that's a great thing that he's doing. I wonder, I know that they gentrify neighborhoods so that they can then go in and invest in those neighborhoods, which usually ends up raising the cost of living in those neighborhoods, which is the very thing that runs the people who lived there prior to out. So that being said, I just wonder if there's any countermeasures that they would begin to try to put in place politically. You know what I mean? In terms of when brothers and sisters go back and do things like that, because Queen Latifah supposedly is doing the same thing, buying up some property and stuff like that. But I wonder if there's any type of like moves they got to try to figure out how to do it now. That they're working on now. I'm quite sure there are, but their whole thing is to bring the value up in the neighborhood to make the cost of living higher, of course, and excommunicate the people who lived there prior to them. So my thing is, if he can bring up the value of the neighborhood still, which I mean it's gonna be brought up, but if he can bring it up to the level, let's say, that's competitive with how they envisioned it. Like when they started putting their idea together that we want to get this neighborhood and we want to develop this much and we're going to move this many people out, whereas he's trying to come in and, preserve some of that, to the best of his ability and more than likely help some of those people in that community remain in that community, so that's just something I wonder about, when those things come up, because they're very adamant and persistent when they want to get some property from out from under us.
Yeah, well, one thing that it's a multi-dynamic situation, which means is this: that what happens is this. It's I want to try to watch my words in saying this, because I want my intent and the meaning of what I'm trying to say is emphasized more than what I'm about to say. They pretty much know that people that are in impoverished situations have a tendency to bring down property value, which they do this for a reason. They initiate this and allow this for a reason, in order so that they can come back over a period of years and buy that property cheap, move people out, and then put what they want, because they already have the finances before a property or an area is low income designated per se. They already had the money, let's say, beforehand. So they say, okay, well, we're going to put this area here for 30, 20, 30, 40 years, let it go down, and then what we'll do is we'll come back in 20, 30, 40 years and we'll buy it back in disregard. Now, the whole thing is this. It's not 100% wrong, because what we're speaking of now is what the solution is, and the accountability is amongst our people. So it's not as if, like Queen Latifah and Marshawn Lynch is by themselves. It is thousands of brothers and sisters that make the same amount of money as they do, that have the same opportunity to do what they do, which means to be able to come in and upgrade a community so that the people within that community is not targeted. You see? So it's not just put on the shoulders of one or two people. You know what I'm saying? All of these ball players are getting $1 million contracts. And like I said, it doesn't cost $1 million to buy a block. And even if it did cost $1 million to buy a block, these people are getting $1 million a year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
More,
so, right, more than that.
Low, you know, that's lowballing it. You know. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm being general.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. And were you finished?
No. Go ahead. No. Go ahead. I mean, I was just saying that. Go ahead.
No,
I was just going to finish. I was going to finish up and just I was just going to end it on the fact like this. It's bigger than just housing.
Right.
When the Mukasa, when other people come in and buy property, it's about the commercial property that's built around the residential property. See, what happens is, in the low income areas, the commercial companies they don't like to come in unless it's occupied by Mukasus or Albion or Caucasians. They don't like to come in. They don't like to invest in the community. So you can go in now in any community and you'll only see 3 or 4 or 5 businesses, a fast food joint or a dollar store or something like that. But when the Albions come by that community, now you start seeing bigger businesses, bigger corporations, hotels comes in.
Exactly. That's exactly the point that I was going to make. That along with this buying up of real estate, he also would be wise to, if not do it himself, a politic with some brothers and sisters about moving businesses into the neighborhoods that he's doing his best to preserve. So that's exactly
right.
You made a point exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say, pretty much.
Yeah, that's important. But I'm gonna move on to then we're gonna come back and sum it all up at the end on all the assignments. But the next category dealing with law. The next category dealing with law is this brother named Travis Washington. I wanted to pick up him and give shout outs to Travis Washington for coming up with what's called the Hands Up Act. Now, the Hands Up Act was put out so that this would punish police officers for shooting unarmed citizens. And he's pushing for legislation to make it illegal for police to shoot a person with a weapon.
God, you're breaking up.
All right, I'm breaking up?
Yeah, you're breaking up.
Let me say it again. Travis Washington is putting together what's called the Hands Up Act. This would punish police for shooting unarmed citizens, and it's attempting to punish, the push for legislation that would make it illegal for police to shoot a person without a weapon. Were you able to hear me clearly then?
Yeah, I was doing.
Okay. The main issue is that what?
What state was that in?
Oh well, let me see. I don't have the state pulled up right now. I just have the brother's name.
Okay.
And what he did was, he created a petition. He emailed 102 U.S. representatives. He reached out to the Huffington Post, the College Democrats of America, the National Civil Rights Museum, and plus the NAACP. So I really, this is really important because they just let off some other officers. They just vindicated some other officers for shooting somebody else in California. So they done got back on their spree and killing. Yeah, they done got back on it again. So the whole thing is there's only two ways to deal with the situation. You either gonna deal with them and it is gonna be all out anarchy because they're showing you that they're not gonna stop doing this. So it's either there is a natural cause and effect process in nature that comes from people, or we're going to deal with this, with the higher intelligence and deal with this through the law and get a legislation passed so that there is some consequences. And I mean, we've been speaking on this for a long time. It's just the fact that I came across this and I found that, this should be a last result effort, and this is no different than going from slavery. There was slavery, and then they said end the slavery, and then they still was enslaving people, and you still had to fight, you know what I'm saying? It's, in order to, if you're going to be here with your these people that are attacking you, in a cowardly manner, attacking you cowardly because we're not hearing of police officers shooting someone in a shootout. You know what I'm saying? Which you can say, okay, yes, you are justified with what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? We are dealing with pretty much public executions of people, which, to a degree, we're being very humane and low tempered about this because really this is not the way that you're supposed to deal with it. Because if somebody's just getting shot without a weapon, you're just supposed to go back and deal with the situation and let it be whatever it's going to be. That's normally how we're raised in our communities. You know what I'm saying? It's not, you don't supposed to just have people getting attacked and it goes unanswered. So again, this Hands Up Act is one of, the recent and current initiatives to try to have this dealt with outside parties, without it being taken in the hands of the people and them cast a judgment on these officers because, at a certain particular point, it's not gonna end well. It's this is only going to happen for so long before, we already had a situation in, I think it was Texas, to where somebody in the military went out and killed a certain amount of police officers. So again, these situations shouldn't be happening, which means it's either the protocol officers is not being trained, or this is the intent of the officers upon engagement with people, is shooting certain people down and having a just means of dealing with other people. So we know people are being arrested for crimes every day all throughout the country, and they're not being murdered for it. But then when it comes to young melanated men, this is ending up being the end result for them. They're getting shot, and they're not and they're not actually in combat with these officers. So, this is it's a trying time, but this is one of the last opportunities I see that people need to take and get behind. So that's that.
Indeed, I comment on that too. That we have to do more to protect ourselves out in this environment. It's definitely a war zone It's not the combat that people are used to fantasizing about and looking at in the movies, but it's just it's still a war nonetheless. There's violence, there's terror, there's trauma, there's all the effects of war still going on in our landscape. It's just that it doesn't look that way. It doesn't look like the battleground that we envision when we say the word war. So with that being said, I wanna say this, man. We have to also get behind or pass some kind of legislation passed for when the police are approaching you and they're coming with this military. That's the point I want to make. A lot of these police are coming and they're hitting the streets. They're coming out of the military. They're hitting the streets and they're coming with their military attitude. So it's a lot of these type of police that are involved in these shootings. So it's clear that we can kind of trace. So the legislation part I want to get to is we have to start making them be accountable for their associations. You understand? We know that we know that they work with certain other associations outside of the police department that they're assigned to, and they do these things for the cause of those organizations, the white inferiority groups, terrorists. That's really what's going on. That's what this private war is about, because it's not purposeless. They don't just. It's not that they're just out here just buck wilding. Now some of them are, because they feed off of that type of energy. The troopers on the ground are, but there's a strategy behind it all. There's a strategy behind it all. It's not just it's what you call controlled chaos. You understand? So
yeah.
And fear is a definite tool of all of it to keep us frozen in our relationship, in terms of how the freedoms that we lose implicitly just from interacting with them. So it's definitely more behind it than just a bunch of bad guys, bad apples in the bunch and things like that. It's way more organized, it's way more intricate, and it's way more purposeful in terms of the intent. And it's hotter in certain areas because they can get away with, blaming black on black crime and letting a lot of things go unsolved, etc. I don't want to go too long on that because I'm real passionate about the ways we've been attacked by on daily. We lose so many dear ones senselessly, but it doesn't make it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to us, but it makes plenty of sense to them because they have a purpose.
Right, exactly. Well, I was gonna I'm gonna go to the last subject that I was gonna hit on, which was movies and music and movies. Again, I'll be connecting on the YouTube video a poetry part from a sister dealing with the music aspect. But as far as the movie is concerned, I want everybody to go check out, pull up, find some type of way to find a movie called The Stick Up Kids. This is one of the best movies I had ever watched. I'm talking about, this is like the most profound hood directed low budget movie ever. I don't know if you ever seen The Stick Up Kid, but the purpose behind, I'm just gonna give an overview of The Stick Up Kid, and I'll put a picture up. You'll see it on the YouTube, so you'll be able to Google it or whatever. But there's two things that happen in this. It was young brothers that was hustling, all right? So they went from hustling and then they was educated by older brothers about their history. Once they was educated by the older brothers in reference to their history, it dealt with the land ownership, it dealt with the indigenous people of Manhattan, it dealt with Moors, it dealt with real estate, it dealt with deeds. And when I had mentioned earlier about Marshawn Lynch and the property buying, it dealt with the strategy. And what you'll see in the movie is the interaction of the strategy dealing with the deeds. This is something that young brothers, young sisters, elders, there's no conversation on this. You know, it's a fear factor in people. A lot of things that's emphasized is individualistic home ownership when you get a husband or a wife. This is what's emphasized, right? But the whole thing is that depending on your demographics, you will understand the importance of having the deeds to properties, all right, and what this means to future generations and how things was passed down. So I'm not going to give away the movie, but the Stick Up Kids is, I mean, I would watch this like 3 times, 4 times over, just because of the message, just because of the intelligence, just because the spirituality that is brought into the film. It covers a lot of bases. So please go out and pick that up. Watch this with your family. Share this with other people once you get a chance to watch it yourself. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to go through, you know what I'm saying, the assignments and so forth. So, you know, I'll go through them, and then afterwards, Utu, you know what I'm saying, you want to give your take on each one, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? So, again, this is AU Gansu University. This is the NGO 37801 Minutes that's being brought to you by Indigenous Media for the students, which are the progeny of the Shi, Olmec, Shi, Yamasee, Gansu. This is for the progeny of the Shi. This is your assignments. Your assignments is to watch the movie The Stick Up Kids, do a report on the movie The Stick Up Kids, go and investigate Travis Washington's Hands Up Act, look into, you know, take a review of what Nas is doing with Sweet Chicks, look into Nipsey Hussle documentary on Dr. Sabi, look into, do a report on Marshawn Lynch and him buying up real estate. Also, do a report on the Black-owned beer brand by Celeste Beatty in Harlem with the Harlem Brewing Company. Dr. Tamara Moise and the new Black-owned urgent care in Brooklyn, dealing with Spanish, Haitians, research how to start your own urgent health care association. Also, reach out to Kiko Davis, the only sister that owns a bank. Her company is called the Black Detour. And also give honors and teach the children about Marseille Martin, the youngest executive producer in the world, Carson Huey, the 11-year-old that was admitted to college to study quantum physics with a 1770 on an SAT, and Esther O'Kay, the 10-year-old math genius that enrolled into the University of UK, which is a British Nigerian. And she got into college, scored 100% on her exams. So you want to go ahead, Uchu?
I'm good, man. That's what's up.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's in addition to the portion that's going to be brought to you by Dr. Cornelius on the health aspect, you know what I'm saying? Definitely look up biogeogenetics and dealing with the health. And you didn't have any final words with you on any of the topics?
Oh yeah, well, again, if you want to get a little more intricate information about Dr. Sabi and his brand, definitely check out Mama Pill. She has a store. I think it's Greenleaf. I think it's greens dash leaf.org. I'll find that information and I'll make sure it gets put into the description box. But it's here in Atlanta. She has a center that's it's called Guyana in Atlanta or something like that, something of that nature. But basically, it's this a small little center that people can go and kind of learn some more of the wisdom of Dr. Sabi. She was one of Dr. Sabi's wives. So yeah, that's it.
All right, I appreciate it. All right, well, again, the date, this is Monday, March the 4th now, we're after 12 p.m. Again, another episode of Indigenous Media for the month of March. These are minutes for 2019, NGO 37801. Definitely for the students of the AU Gansu, the Oxygen, the OMEC